you like listening to podcasts as much as we do, you may want to listen to us while you're working out or going for a run or doing a number of other things. Maybe you're grocery shopping or maybe you listen to us while you're supposed to be working. Whatever it is, if you want to add a beat in the background for some extra motivation, you should check out this new app called Podbeat.
Podbeat is a free mobile app that lets you add any beat style to any podcast for your workout. It's easy to use and free to download in the App Store. Sometimes podcasts may lose your attention because you're just listening to someone talk. With Podbeat, podcasts are a lot more fun.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. And the other thing that I really like about Podbeat is that you can choose from a bunch of different beats. So it's not like you're listening to the same thing over and over. There are a ton of options. Some that I prefer myself. I really like the funk beat, which you can hear in the background right now. And another one that's one of my favorites is the trap beat.
I agree. I love the trap beat as well. I also really like that for each beat I pick, I can change the treble, the BPM, the volume, and the bass levels. I'm like my own DJ. It's a lot of fun. Definitely check out Podbeat in the App Store or also on Google Play Store for Android users. Okay, on to the show. Welcome back to Rewind Rewatch. I am Andreen.
And I'm Joel.
We are siblings that are rewatching 90s movies and discussing how well they aged. In addition to that, we also will be talking about, well, I should say Joel will be discussing the themes. Because clearly I've been pretty trash at doing that.
That is pretty much how it works at this point.
And then we both will be giving our ratings between 1 and 5. 1, we never want to watch this film again. And 5, if it's on, we're definitely going to stop and watch it through its fruition. Okay, so today we are going to be talking about The Silence of the Lambs.
This was another one of the listener requests. I mean, at this point, that's pretty much what we're doing at this point.
Yes, let me shout out to Nick and Ruby. They both submitted these requests via email.
Yes, we have been receiving requests via email, via social media. Again, if you have thoughts on films that you'd like us to review, we can be reached at rewindrewatch1990s@gmail. And then you can also reach out to us on social media. All of our handles are at RR90spod. On Twitter and on Instagram and on TikTok.
TikTok is just Rewind Rewatch Podcast. Okay. So just look us up. You'll find us there. All of our funny videos and reels will be there. And there's a lot of engagement. So check us out there as well. All right. This is considered to be a horror/crime film. Runtime is 1 hour and 58 minutes. So basically 2 hours.
Yep.
Now, I kind of want to give some kind of like caution here. Disclaimer here. This movie is extremely dark, and I did a lot of research. I kind of dug in kind of deep here, Joel.
I'm very unsurprised.
It gets pretty dark. So I want to say, if for whatever reason, only God would know, if you're listening with your children to this podcast, this is an episode you probably want to skip with your children. So maybe listen to it first, see if your child can handle this.
Unless that's just how you like to parent.
Yeah.
But, that's...
I can't tell you how to parent your child.
It's not... it's not for us to decide, I guess, but we wouldn't recommend it for children. Put it that way.
Yeah, this is going to be, I would say, rated R to rated MA episode. There's a lot going on here, and I go into a lot of serial killer tendencies and mindsets. I did a very deep dive here. So disclaimer, trigger warning, all that good stuff.
Well, I guess for those of you who, if there's anybody listening who hasn't already seen this movie, this would probably be a good time to do the one sentence summary.
I think you should give it.
Okay, yeah, I can do that. There's kind of like a plot and a subplot, but the subplot is kind of the main plot, but it's not. So this is going to be a little tricky.
Okay.
Okay, the FBI enlists the support of a training detective to psychoanalyze a serial killer psychiatrist in order to gain a psychological profile for a serial killer that's on the loose.
Yeah. That sums it up pretty well, actually. You did a good job because there's a lot going on in this movie. So we have Jodie Foster, who plays Clarice Starling, and she
Hello, Clarence.
she is the character who is currently in FBI school. She's not yet graduated, and
But she's like top of her class.
Oh,
Like,
yeah,
she's
yeah.
like the shit, and like everybody is basically saying how like she's killing it in training. So this is kind of how she even gets involved.
right. So she wants to work in behavioral science when she graduates. And I kind of want to pause here for a second and just talk about Jodie Foster. So this movie comes out in 1991. Prior to this movie, she was in Taxi Driver in 76.
Oh wow.
And she worked with,
she was a kid, right?
yeah, she was working as a kid sex worker.
Right. Yeah, that's right.
She worked opposite with your boy Robert De Niro in that one.
You talking to me?
And then in 88, she was in another movie called The Accused, where she was a victim of a gang rape.
So basically, every movie she's done to this point is extremely dark. Because if we were doing either of those other movies, you probably would have had to also give a trigger warning at the beginning. Because Taxi Driver,
Yeah,
jeez.
yeah.
And I've never seen The Accused, but
I saw it, and let me tell you, it's rough.
It sounds like a movie that I might want to avoid.
And to add to that, she had another movie in the early 2000s called The Brave One, where basically her fiance gets murdered. So yeah,
All right, Jodie. So she's definitely got a type.
She does. So she's playing this FBI person in school. She's still in training, but she's really involved in behavioral sciences, and she wants to basically understand the mindset of these serial killers. What makes them tick? What's going on in their psyche? This is what kind of drives her. And then, of course, we have Anthony Hopkins. And fact about him, he's actually called Sir Anthony Hopkins. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
Yes. He's a sir because he was knighted by the Queen in 1993 for his incredible contributions to the arts. So he's actually a sir, which is pretty cool.
Shout out to him.
So he plays Dr. Hannibal Lecter, of course. I mean, Anthony Hopkins in this movie is absolutely terrifying. To the point where it's almost otherworldly, like the way he can read into someone else's mental being, how he can just sniff the air and figure out who's in the room.
Mm-hmm.
He was
or
fantastic.
like, oh, you usually wear this soap, but you're not wearing it today. Like what? Like, come on, bro. But yeah, this is one of those ones. Anthony Hopkins already is one of those ones, but then it's like when you think about Hannibal, or if you think about Silence of the Lambs, I feel like he's kind of become synonymous with this character in a lot of ways. Like the Hannibal character is larger than life, but he plays it so well, and like he got all these nominations. I don't know if he won awards for it. I'm assuming he did. But yeah, like he won 2 Oscars for this role.
Well deserved. I will say that.
Like he's getting crazy in this whole movie, and every scene that he's in, he absolutely commands the presence of the screen. Like you're just not even really paying attention to anything else other than him.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll get into this more.
Okay, and then we have Ted Levine is who plays Buffalo Bill, and a few other movies that he was in. He was in Heat. He was in Wild Wild West, and he also was in Shutter Island. Yeah,
I didn't recognize him in any of those movies.
But just so you know, that's where else you can find. I actually recognize. So in Shutter Island, he played one of the wardens. I know that only because I love Shutter Island. I love Leonardo DiCaprio. I can go on and on about Leo and his movies. I think they're fantastic. And he was one of the main wardens in that movie, and I remember seeing his face, and I tied that connection. The Heat and Wild Wild West, I barely remember Wild Wild West. I saw it once and hated it.
Hated it. I've actually never seen that movie because everybody always just talked about how bad it was. It's like, yeah, I'm just gonna skip this altogether.
Yeah, that's probably best.
But Heat is fire, but Heat's also like 2.5 hours long, so I don't remember every single person in that movie.
Yeah, fair.
So is his voice actually like that? I guess is my biggest question, or was he just making that voice for Silence of the Lambs?
It rubs the lotion on its skin, or else it gets the hose again.
So in Shutter Island, he did not talk like that. So I would suspect that this is something he was putting on, like to just sound very bizarre and very strange. Like his character was
Interesting.
Yeah. I want to shout out two more other people. Well, three people briefly. So you have Anthony Heald, who plays Dr. Frederick Chilton. He was kind of a douchebag. He was in The Pelican Brief. He was in The Client, and also in A Time to Kill. Frankie Faison played Barney. He was the blackguard. He was in Coming to America, Do the Right Thing, White Chicks, and also he was in Red Dragon, which is the second part of this movie. So basically, we have.
And where I spotted him from, he's on The Wire. He plays.
See, I've never seen The Wire.
I wouldn't even admit that publicly, but yeah,
I should say never seen. That's not fair, but I haven't watched it all the way through.
Yeah, he plays like one of those police lieutenant guys who's like not really. He doesn't really care about the crime. He just wants to get better numbers, and so he's just like, yo, just solve the case. I don't care.
Got it.
He's just like a careerist.
Got it.
So yeah, that's where I automatically noted him from. But now that you mentioned that he's in Coming to America, I'm like, oh yeah, he was.
Yeah.
But I thought of The Wire immediately.
That's okay. That makes sense. And like I said before, like he's also in Red Dragon, which is part 2, I believe. Yeah, it's a Silence of the Lambs, then it's Red Dragon, and then the third one was it called Hannibal or?
No, Hannibal is the second one. I think Red Dragon.
Red Dragon is the third one. Yeah, you're right.
I actually forgot that there.
No,
was
you're
a
right.
third
Red
one.
Dragon is the third one, and he was actually in all three of them.
Oh, shout out to him.
Yeah. And then lastly, I just want to briefly talk about Brooke Smith. Brooke Smith played the victim. That was who Buffalo Bill snagged. I recognized
The
her.
senator's daughter.
Yes. I recognized her because she was on Grey's Anatomy. I was a huge fan between like 06 and 09. And she played Dr. Hahn between 2006 and 2008 on Grey's Anatomy. So that's how I knew her. And I was like, oh, snap, that's her. Okay. So going to rewatch this movie, what did you recall going into it this time around?
I mean, it's a 2-hour movie. So I've seen this movie enough times to remember a lot of it. I think like a lot of the details in terms of like how she gets to his house or like the research, like that stuff, I did not remember. But I remembered that Clarice was using Dr. Lecter to try to find Buffalo Bill. I remembered that Buffalo Bill was a serial killer who was skinning women. I remember some of the creepy scenes in his house that kind of just stick in your mind, like put the lotion in the basket.
Yeah.
When he's modeling with his penis between his legs. So like stuff like that you remember, but then like I didn't remember all the details in terms of like how did he escape or like how did she find the house that he was in? Some of that stuff I did not recall. And then also like her boss's character. What was his name? Jack Crawford?
Yes.
I didn't really remember his character at all.
Well, I guess not really her boss because she's still in the academy.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
She's
not even real FBI.
Yeah, he gave her a special project because, like you said, she's top of the class and she wants to go into behavioral science. And so it's like, we're trying to crack this guy open. He's not responding
her
to me.
superior.
Yeah, he's not responding to me. So let's kind of throw you in and like, let's see what happens. So this is kind of how the movie starts. She gets this assignment, and of course, she's super excited to do it because Dr. Hannibal Lecter, I mean, this is a guy who's a psychiatrist who was killing and murdering his victims.
And let's also...
killing and eating his victims.
Yeah, I was also going to say, like, think about the idea of someone who's trained in psychiatry, and then they're a serial killer.
Yeah,
so
that's terrifying.
It's like I now have all of this like information and knowledge about how to pick apart people's brains, and I'm using it for pure evil.
Right. It's diabolical if you really think about it. So I want to talk about the first scene where she goes to see him because she walks in, and before she's even able to meet with Dr. Hannibal, she has to meet with what is his name?
Dr. Chilton, the guy who runs the prison / psych ward.
And this guy is very creepy. Like, he's saying things to her like, oh, like, you're attractive. Like, you're definitely the type of person that Dr. Hannibal would be into. And she's like, oh, okay. He's like, oh, I see why Crawford sent you. And she's like, all right, but like about the case, like what? And he's like, oh.
And then he asks her like, yo, so you're gonna be in town overnight?
Yeah. She's like
come
what?
on, bro.
And he's like, oh, the Baltimore can be fun if you have someone who can show you around.
Yeah, come on, man. Be a professional. Come on, dog.
So it was like, okay, we get it. Like she's not, and she's very polite about it, but she's like, yeah, no, I just kind of want to.
She just sidesteps.
Yeah, let me
It's
just.
like, I'm not even going to address this.
Yeah, let me get to it. So she's finally able to go in and see him, and there's so many doors that are locked to get between the outside world and to where Hannibal Lecter is. There's like 5 different doors, if you notice. It's
At least. I mean, it's
crazy
maximum security. His cell doesn't even have a door. Like it's like plexiglass with one of those sliding gates that you have to use. Like where do you even use those? At the doctor's office or? Oh no, it's usually like when you have to like go to like a liquor store in the hood.
Oh yeah.
Or you go to like
or a gas station.
Crown Fried Chicken, and they'd be like, "Yeah, nah, it's just slide the money." It's one of those things. It's the Crown Fried Chicken money slider joint. That's what he has in his cell.
Oh man, yeah. I mean, like the highest of security, basically what we're talking about here. And so she's doing this walk, and as she's walking down to see where he is, there's a few other cellmates in the area. You have one guy who is out of his mind. He's like
one guy.
Well, so yeah, one guy's completely butt naked, who's like jerking off himself in the corner, which
as one does in prison.
I mean, okay, the jerking off is one thing, but then he like throws his cum at her. Like that was a lot.
Spoiler alert.
That was.
We didn't even get there yet, man. I thought you were going to bring that up later. Yeah, no. I mean, everybody in this ward with Hannibal seems to be a little off their rocker, and they're obviously there for violent crime.
Yes, for sure.
The irony, of course, being that he's clearly the smartest person in the room and is probably the smartest person in most rooms.
Oh, absolutely.
So he's like literally an evil genius where like he's in prison with all these crazy people, and he is quote unquote crazy in the sense that like he doesn't operate by normal society rules, but he's extremely smart and he has doctorate degrees, and so like this is kind of the setting that we're in.
So right before she goes in to talk to him, she basically gets told all these instructions, and it's like he's very dangerous. So it's like, don't go near their glass, don't bring any pencils, don't bring any paper clips, and be on guard the entire time because like he will tear you apart essentially. Like he's so smart, he'll get into your head. So, like, keep your distance, keep your guard
She's
up.
also told not to provide him with any personal information,
which she completely disregards.
Well,
she gives him a lot over time.
Yeah, she definitely disregards, but I don't think it was like, oh, I'm just ignoring this.
No.
I think it was like in the name of
it's the quid pro quo.
I'm trying to solve this case, and so I have to decide what I'm going to give up.
So at the very first time he sees her, I was struck by how astute his observation was. Like,
well, even before they exchange information, I think one of the things that I did not notice the last time I watched this movie, or the last few times I watched it, was the ways that it's shot. Mm-hmm. Specifically, they use a lot of first-person shots in this movie. And I didn't recognize...
What do you mean by that?
By first-person shots, it's like they're showing you the perspective of one of the characters in the movie. Okay. So as she walks up to his cell, the camera pans towards his cell as if you're Clarice. And then there's different moments in the film, like even when she's in like physical training, they'll show like her perspective as somebody's trying to tackle her, or like they'll show Buffalo Bill's perspective at the end of the movie, like when she's trying to find him in the night vision glasses.
Yeah, that was fun. Yeah.
So there's a number of moments throughout the film where like they're putting you in the perspective of one of the characters, which I thought was really striking, specifically in this shot, because as she walks up to his cell, he's literally just like standing at attention with his eyes in a very intense glare and just like staring at her as she approaches. And as soon as he hits the screen, you're just like, there's something about this dude.
Yeah.
He just seems extremely creepy.
Yeah, absolutely. So she walks up and he basically says something about the fact that like he starts smelling the air. He's like a big whiff of the air. And he's able to name like the moisturizer that she normally uses, and then he makes it a point to say like, "Oh, but like you haven't used it in a while." And she's just kind of like, "Okay, this is weird." And he's able to talk about, he noticed her shoes, and he's like, "Oh, I can tell that like you're coming from an area where like you're not quite white, not quite like poor white trash, but you're almost there." And you're trying to get yourself out of, let me guess, West Virginia and move yourself up by going to the FBI and becoming.
Well, he also recognized her accent.
Yeah.
That she's like, you're trying to hide it, but you can't hide it.
Yeah.
And that accent you've tried so desperately to shed, pure West Virginia. What does your father do? Is he a coal miner? Does he stink of the land? And oh, how quickly the boys found you. All those tedious, sticky fumblings in the backseats of cars while you could only dream of getting out, getting anywhere, getting all the way to the FBI.
So it's like, he's the kind of person, like, imagine this being your psychiatrist. Like, you come in for your first session and to know that, like, he's able to pick apart every little aspect of you.
He's probably very good at his job.
Oh, absolutely.
If he doesn't kill you.
Absolutely.
I'm sure the people he didn't kill would probably be like, yo, Dr. Lecter was amazing. He changed my life.
Yeah. I mean, you're right. If you're fortunate enough, he's not interested in eating you, then
he
I
either
suppose.
changes your life or he ends your life. But
those are some high stakes.
Yeah, it's very high stakes.
I don't know about that. Because like later on in the film, there's a scene where she's talking to him, and Dr. Chilton walks into the room, and his back is to him. He can't even see him, and he whiffs, he smells, and he's like, "Oh, that must be Dr. Chilton." And it's like, bruh, like, how strong is your sense of smell that you could just automatically tell who's walking into a room?
And that has nothing to do with psychology
At all.
So then it's just like, yeah, what is he a dog? Like, we didn't.
Well, I think it's tied to the fact that he eats people. It has to be something to do with like certain people may smell and then taste a certain way, because your taste and smell are tied together.
Yes, they are.
So I'm thinking it has something to do with the fact that he eats people. Like, that's kind of what I got from it, is the fact that he's able to understand and grasp that kind of information just from sniffing the air. So she's talking to him. We're getting the idea that this guy is very intelligent. He's driving the conversation. Like, she's trying very hard to talk to him, but he wants to get information about her. Like, where is she from? What is her history? What's going on with her? He also, when she shows him the badge, he says, "You're not even real FBI. Your ID expires in 1 week." So, like, I know, like, are you a student? Did Crawford send you here? Like, he blows, like, not her cover, but, like, he's able to figure out exactly who she is within the first couple of minutes. It's pretty astounding. And so so at one point he says to her, like, "Go and seek Miss Moffat, an old patient of mine. Look within yourself. The answer will be there." And he talks in a lot of riddles throughout the movie.
This guy thinks he's the Joker.
Riddler.
I guess the Riddler.
The Riddler, yeah. He talks in a lot of riddles. Look within yourself. But so Joel said I gave it away the spoiler where it was the cum shot, and that's because as she's getting ready to leave him, initially she's walking down, and this one of the crazy guys in another cell is going crazy, and
Miggs,
and he throws his cum at her. And when that happens, Dr. Hannibal, like, he may be a cannibal, but he's a classy guy. Like he's not gonna throw
no,
he's not gonna throw his cum on someone. Like, that's too far.
Even the way that he's like in his prison jumpsuit, it's like tucked into his pants. Yeah. The shirt is like all crisp.
His hair is slicked back.
Yeah, it's like, who is this guy? And then at certain points in the movie, he paints very beautiful drawings from memory.
Yeah.
He listens to classical music.
He's a classy guy. He's a little misunderstood, maybe.
He's a little, yeah. He's a lunatic, but he is a classy
He's a classy guy. So when that happens, Clarice...
He has high taste. I'll put it that way.
Clarice is, of course, very, like, what's happening here? Because, like, someone just threw his stuff in her face. And so at that point, he calls her back to the cell, and that's when he gives her the clue about look within yourself. The answer is there. And so she's trying to figure out, what does this mean? Because he obviously doesn't mean to, like, look within herself, Clarice. He means something else. And as the movie progresses, she's able to figure out that it's a storage facility. And the storage was paid for 10 years in advance by a Miss Moffat. And so she's like, oh, he's giving me a clue. And then she's able to break into the storage facility and she finds a lot of like old junk. There's like an old vehicle. There's mannequins everywhere. And this is where she finds a head. We have no idea whose head belongs to. There was like lipstick on the lips, right?
I don't
Like,
remember.
It was like it was definitely a male. It was definitely a male head, but I feel like I remember seeing like lipstick or like mascara on the head.
Yeah.
And so of course she's like, okay, you know what exactly is happening here?
And who is this person?
Right, so-
and is this one of your victims?
Exactly. So she runs back. She goes back to the asylum afterwards because she's like, yo, what is happening? So the thing about him, it's almost like he has this otherworldly type of aura to him. And I say that because when she was breaking into the storage unit, she had accidentally cut her leg. When she goes back that same night to see Hannibal, she goes and she sits down. And he says to her, oh, I see your bleeding has stopped. And it's like, bro, how did you even
Yeah.
know that my leg was bleeding?
It's a little fantastical.
Like, it was very much like, I was like, so, again, like, is there a magical Negro, right? Like,
Right.
It goes back to the Green Mile. He got punished by the warden because after Miggs threw his stuff on Clarice, apparently Dr. Hannibal whispered something to Miggs, and next thing you know, like, Miggs is dead. He had swallowed his own tongue.
Well, yeah, it sounds like after that happened, he was probably saying stuff to Miggs for who knows how long. He could have been like torturing
He got
him
in
for
his
the rest
head.
of the night.
Yeah.
But basically, this idea that like he can manipulate things to what his liking based on just like being able to get into people's heads. Not to mention that Miggs is already not all there.
Mm-hmm.
So then he already just knew what triggers to push,
Right.
to get this guy to kill himself despite not having any actual items or tools to commit suicide.
Yeah. And it's actually pretty sad because like it's clear that Miggs is messed up in the head mentally. So it's like it just, you know, we don't really know what happened, why he's there. I'm assuming he murdered someone, which is why he's there. But you know, the whole he's dead, it's over. And so as punishment, they remove all the paintings and the drawings out of his room. And now he's stuck in this empty room. She goes back and she sees him. He says that like he may help her because she wants to get information about Buffalo Bill, right? That's why she's there. They're trying to build this profile, and they figure that, although it's funny because she doesn't know that she's there to get information about Buffalo Bill. Initially, when she gets sent in there, Crawford tells her, hey, like, we've never been able to crack, you know, Dr. Hannibal. He's not responsive to me, so perhaps he'll respond to you. Just go in and talk to him and see, you know, what you can get out of him. He doesn't really agree to do so yet because, of course, it's like, what is even the point of him helping her? He's going to be in jail for the rest of his life. So it's like, what incentive do I have? So as this is going on, Buffalo Bill basically is this person that has been murdering multiple women. At the beginning of the movie, we see these shots of crime scene photos. We see newspaper clippings of like Buffalo Bill has his fifth victim. He skinned his fifth victim. So what he does is he captures them. He keeps them alive for 3 days. He shoots them. He skins them. And then he dumps their body somewhere in a body of water. Like that's pretty much has been his MO.
Profile, yeah.
Yeah. So another body has recently washed up in West Virginia. And now this is going on. So in addition to that, after the body washes up, we realize quickly thereafter that the daughter of, was it a senator?
Yeah.
Has been kidnapped. And the reason why they believe Buffalo Bill took her is because they found one of her shirt and it had been sliced open from the back. It's kind of his calling card when he kidnaps these women. He knocks them out. He cuts them out of their shirt, leaves the shirt at the scene where he snatches them. And then that's kind of a nod to the cops to say, yes, Buffalo Bill has this person.
But we also see him kidnap her. Like
That scene.
It's in the film. So it's not just like we as viewers know what happened. The FBI is trying to figure it out, but we actually see her get kidnapped. And the way he does it is kind of genius.
Yeah, let's talk
because
about
it's
it.
like right in front of her apartment.
That's kind of what hurt me the most. Was like, yo, you were right at your door. Like you were home.
Yeah, so he has this van and he's by himself trying to move a couch into the van. So she parks her car and she's like, "Hey, like, do you need like what's going on over there? Do you need some help?" He's like, "Oh yeah, I'm just trying to move
Clearly
this
struggling.
couch."
He's clearly struggling.
Like, yo, if you get help, that'd be great. So she offers to help him. She basically picks up one side of the couch, and he tells her to just like, yeah, if you could just back it in. So she's basically has her back in the van. She picks up the couch, and then he's basically pushing in the other side. So at this point, he basically has her trapped between the van and the couch.
Yeah.
And then once she's in there, he basically just knocks her out.
Well, before that, he asked her a question.
Well,
Are
he
you a
asked her,
size 14?
Are you a size 14?
And she's like, what?
What? But she didn't answer.
Yeah, I mean, he could tell that she was a bigger girl.
Well, he had been scouting her.
Yeah.
So that's the other thing. Like he wasn't there by accident. He already knew. Like, so then he asked her if she's a size 14. She's like, what are you asking me that for? He knocks her out, looks at the tag on the back of her dress, and she's like, oh yes, it's a 14. Perfect. And then that's when he rips it off, tosses it out the van, and drives off.
Right. So as part of this serial killer profile, we as viewers are able to learn what the profile is because Crawford is basically quizzing Clarice. After the last body washes up in West Virginia, they're about to go to the scene to go to the morgue and look at the body and try to figure out what's going on. And he says to her, like, what are your thoughts on Buffalo Bill based on the past crimes? And she says, well, from what I've seen, he's not impulsive. He takes his time. He must live alone. It has to be in a house, not an apartment, because of the fact that he's able to skin them and do all these things. You would have to be somewhere where you don't have, neighbors nearby. He's probably in his 30s or 40s. He is a white male, generally because serial killers typically tend to hunt within their own race. And then she says that at this point, he's not going to stop because he's gotten a real taste for his craft, because this will be victim number 6 that he has taken.
Yep.
So Clarice and Crawford go to West Virginia. They are able to go to the morgue and examine the body of the woman that has recently washed up. And I mean, the body is just mutilated. I mean, it's been in the water for a while. So yes, you have some decomposition because of that. When they flip the body over, there are different marks where you can see that she had been skinned in a certain way on her back. And they discovered this moth that had been stuck in her throat. But this moth it's a bug cocoon. It's important because it's called a death heads moth that only lives in Asia. They're in West Virginia. So obviously this moth is not from this area. Someone must have grown him. And so she has to go to this, this bug doctor to figure that out, which she does. His name is Dr. Pilcher. Dr. Pilcher, and he helps her out about that information, where to find it, blah, blah, blah.
I mean, the other piece about the body, though, is that the body, they're also noticing that there are a number of fingernails missing. So there's evidence of struggle. And they also noticed that the way that the body had been skinned was like these 2 diamond-shaped carvings in the victim's back. So they're like, this is actually a little bit different than what we've seen before, but it looks like a very specific type of design.
Right. So at this point, Clarice goes back to see Hannibal Lecter because she's like, not only are we finding another body, but now the senator's daughter is missing. So like time is pressing.
Yeah, and this is the other thing is like now they're getting pressure from Washington.
Yeah.
Because now it's not just like
some
another
girl
missing person. It's like this person has family that's important, and they're recognizing that if they don't find this guy quickly, he's going to kill her in 3 days.
Exactly.
Because that's what he does every time.
Right.
So now they're starting to get desperate.
So she goes back to him and she basically gives him this offer. She's like, okay, look, we've spoken with the senator and, they've agreed. We can transfer you to the VA hospital. You'll have a view of the woods. You'll have access to books. And then 1 week a year, you're able to go to this island where he can go to the beach and do all these things. In exchange, we just want you to review this case of Buffalo Bill, like give us your thoughts as to who he may be. But of course, if Catherine, who is the senator's daughter, if she dies, you get nothing. And so he's like, okay, well, I want to get to know you in exchange for this information. So that goes back to what Dr. Crawford had told her about keeping your information private.
Don't let him get into your head.
But it's like, but time is ticking for Catherine. Like, and this is kind of what he wants. So I'm gonna give him what he like. What am I gonna do? You know, I kind of understand where she's at. It's like I kind of do this the whole quid pro quo. Okay,
So you would have done it?
I would have.
Ooh.
Because this is the thing. Like,
I don't know.
this is the thing.
I don't know.
I'm trying to find this woman. Also, it's like, this is what I want to do, right? I want to be in this area of the FBI. I want to get inside these people's brains who are serial killers. And yes, like, we know that he is highly intelligent. And he can suggest things. Like, he made someone kill himself, basically, right?
Right.
We understand that. However,
Not to mention, like, they've tried to work with this man multiple times with multiple different agents.
and it didn't work.
So then it's also like, what makes me feel like I'm going to be the one to crack the case?
So you think you'd be like, well, I guess Catherine's dead? Like, is that is that what you would have like? Shrug shoulders.
I mean, I don't know, man, because that's the thing. It's like, am I willing to allow this crazy man
To get into
to
your
get
head?
into my head just to try to crack this case that I might not be able to crack anyway? Yes, obviously, I want to try to get whatever information I can get, but it's also like I'm putting my own mental health at risk, not to mention the fact that I haven't even graduated yet. So if this goes left, I won't even be FBI. Like, she has a lot to risk.
I don't think so. If Catherine dies, it's not like she's gonna lose her ability
and that's
to
not what I'm
graduate.
talking about.
What do
I'm
you
talking
mean?
about if he gets in her head and then she cracks.
Oh, you're saying like, oh, your own mental health is at stake.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm like,
That's fair.
That's not a risk that I don't think
That's
I would
fair.
be willing to
But
take.
going back to what we said earlier, remember what we said? He's probably a great psychiatrist. So, yes, like,
But you don't know his intentions.
That's true.
So, like, you're also trusting him not to hurt you.
That's true.
A man that's hurt people.
But he's also helped people. Like,
This is the thing.
it's a
Like,
toss-up.
She's taking a tremendous risk, and I feel like I would have been like, yeah, I don't know, bro. I might have just asked them to
I
assign
think-
somebody else.
I
Like,
don't
this is
know.
not it for me.
I think I would have tried it, honestly. I think I would have tried it just to kind of see, like, where it goes. Because, like, as we see, I think he got into her head, but it did not have a negative effect on her.
He didn't have ill intent.
Right.
But again,
But she didn't know what his intent was.
like,
Yeah.
she's trusting.
No, yeah.
It worked out
Yeah.
for
That's-
her.
that's-
It didn't work out for Miggs.
Yeah, but
And
again,
it didn't work out for anybody that he ate. So
but I almost feel like I don't know how he picks his victims, because even later on in the film, we see that he picks someone else as a victim that I feel like, not that they deserved it, but they weren't a good person. So, like, maybe he's kind of like, well, Miggs was in poor taste. He didn't you didn't deserve that treatment, and so he got Miggs out of here. I don't know if he's just willy nilly.
but then it's also like you're the arbiter of like who's worthy of dying or not. That's the other thing. It's like, again, like, you're trusting
Yeah.
that this man is not gonna look at you and be like, you know what?
Oh, she's
she
trash.
deserves. Yeah, she needs to go.
No, that's a fair assessment. But anyway, she decides to take the risk. That's
She
what
does.
she does. And so she discloses to him that her father used to be a sheriff. Her father died when she was 10 years old. And at that point, she ends up moving in with some
And
cousins.
her mother was already dead.
Yeah, at a younger age. So at 10, she became an orphan, and she moved in with some of her cousins on this, like, sheep ranch. And then she kind of says, like, yeah, and I was there for, like, it was like 2 months, and then she left. And he's like, what happened? And she's like, well, let's go back to Buffalo Bill. Like, she kind of stopped there and doesn't really,
Yeah.
because she's like, I'm giving you a lot right now about my history. So, like, how about you give me a little bit about what's going on with Buffalo Bill?
There's also this dance that they're doing throughout the movie of like her trying to get back down to business and him trying to build this rapport.
Yes.
So it's like he's trying to like have small talk, and not small talk necessarily, but like he's trying to get to know her. He's trying to ask questions about who she is, what her interests are, where she comes from. Almost like he's like on a first date. And she's just like, bro, like, I'm trying to crack this case, and like, are you gonna be able to help me or not? And
Yeah.
he's like, yo, like, what's the rush? Like, can we at least like, come on, like, at least take me out to dinner first, like. So this is the whole thing. Is like he's And he has this way about him where he's like frighteningly charming.
Yes.
So it's like he doesn't raise his voice
at all.
Even her superior, Jack Crawford, at one point tells her about like, I don't know if it was Jack Crawford, if it was Dr. Chilton, but somebody tells her a story about how some guard got caught and he basically like ate the guy's face off, and his his heartbeat never reached above like an 85. So then it's like this man is terrifying. Like he's just cold, and he doesn't run hot. He doesn't get too hype. Like he's just diabolical, but he's gonna always maintain like this certain level of coolness to him.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's always also how he's approaching all their conversations, is like he's very calm and he has like this politeness about him.
Yeah.
Like he comes off as somebody who's from high society.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And he has like this charm about him, but then it's also like, I know who you are. So it's very like, I know what you're capable of. And he presents as if he's just like someone who's trying to have like, conversation at a dinner party.
Yeah, he definitely is one of those like drink your tea with your pinky up type of people. For sure.
Yeah. And it wouldn't surprise me if Hannibal comes from money, or he went to the best schools, or he definitely has a very high society feel about him.
Yeah, I agree with that. I can see that for sure. So
that's the whole thing, is like he keeps trying to like get to know her, and she's like, yo, bro, like
time is ticking.
Let's get down to business. Like, are you gonna help me or not? And he's like, yo, give me a little bit, you know what I'm saying? And then I can give you a little bit too. But he keeps talking in clues.
Yeah.
So he's also like, if you're as smart as you think you are, and obviously they sent you here for a reason,
figure it out.
Then like prove it. Like prove how good you are by figuring it out. I'm gonna give you crumbs.
I mean, she figured out the storage compartment.
She figured out a lot of things,
and she went back to him and was like, "Yo, whose head was that?"
Nah, she figured out a lot of things.
Like she's like, "Yo, like why? Like there's a head in there. Like who's that head belong to?" And he says to her basically that he's like, "This is not someone. It's not a victim that I took." He said, "I didn't hurt him. He actually was a patient of mine," and he said, "That's how I found him." And he says that the patient,
which is also like, why did you find your patient?
Yeah.
Or did you just show up to this man's house? Like, because that's also
true. That's true.
You broke into his house and found him there. So it's like, why did you find him?
Yeah,
there,
unless you're doing house calls.
Yeah, like why did you break into his house? Like that should have been the follow up, but we didn't have time.
But yet you're still storing his body in this storage compartment, which is very bizarre.
His head,
as opposed to just leaving it where it was.
Yeah.
But that's true. Like, why do you have his head?
Yeah.
But
he's just like, oh, wow, he's dead. And they just held on to it as a keepsake.
So that's actually a good question. So they had this deal, and she...
Also, if the head's been there for the past at least 8 years, how is it not like completely
It was in a jar.
Oh, it wasn't in a jar.
It was water.
Yeah, that's right. That's true.
Because, water slows down decomposition. So a lot of times if officers or whoever, detectives, find a body that's been in the water, it's hard to determine the time of death because the water can kind of manipulate that.
Yeah. And it makes the skin swell too, doesn't it?
Yeah. This is where Dr. Chilton basically exerts himself into the investigation. This pisses me off, as it should. It's supposed to. He comes in. He's upset because Clarice is coming in multiple times. She's interviewing Hannibal Lecter, and he has no idea why, right?
Yeah, because she's basically like, yo, like I have a top security reason to be here, and like I don't owe you any answers.
Right.
It's like, yo, like I'm not just a turnkey. Like you can't just be coming to my prison,
right?
Come in and speaking to my patients, and you're not giving me any information as to what's going on. Mm-hmm. So then he takes it upon himself to basically tap all of their conversations, where he bugs, I guess, the cell, where they're talking, and is just like getting all of the details about what's going on because she won't tell him.
Uh-huh.
So then he's like, oh, this is interesting. And he hears that Clarice gives him this offer of like, we're going to transfer you to a cell that has a window and you're going to be able to go to the beach. So then he looks into it and finds out that the offer is BS.
Not true. Fake news.
Total fake news. But then this is where it gets crazy. He goes to Dr. Lecter.
He doesn't just go, bro. He's like lying on the cot. So they have Lecter like in this straitjacket. There's like a weird
mask over his face, so he can't bite his face off.
He's almost like on those, what do they call those things? Like those pulleys, like if you're moving
cart,
furniture.
like the hand cart.
Yeah, hand cart.
Yeah.
They have him like on this hand cart, like propped up in like a straitjacket. And Dr. Chilton is like lying on the bed in the cell. And he's like, oh, like.
There never was a deal with Senator Martin, but there is now. I designed it. Of course, I worked in a few conditions for my own benefit as well. Identify Buffalo Bill by name. And if the girl is found in time, Senator Martin will have you transferred to Brushy Mountain State Prison in Tennessee. Answer me, Hannibal.
Hannibal Lecter's like, okay, well, I'll tell you the name of the person who I think Buffalo Bill is, but I have to actually go in person and tell the senator to her face. Like, you have to transport me to where she is. And of course, he has a plan.
Yeah, and she's a senator in where is it? Tennessee.
Tennessee?
Memphis? Yeah, is in Memphis.
It's in Tennessee.
So then it's like, why do you think Dr. Chilton is even doing this?
It's like, I guess he's mad that a woman is like getting information or upstaging him or doing something in his prison and he doesn't. He's just kind of going above his head. And also it's the fact that no one else is able to get through to him. He's only responding to Clarice for some reason. Mm-hmm. And it's this young punk girl who, you know, she is kind of, I wouldn't say she's bold, but in the sense that like she knows who she is. She's not responding to my advances. She is not backing down when I'm like, you know, bucking up against her as a woman should. You know, he's saying very like,
and she won't even sleep with me either.
You're right.
So
this is my prison, and she's a
hell?
woman, and blah blah blah, and she's not even a real FBI agent.
Yeah.
You know, all that misogyny was all through his character. So he's mad, and he does this, and he's like, "Yeah, like I'm gonna get the deal." And of course, he wants to save the day so that his name will be the ones in the papers. They can be like, "Oh, yeah. Dr. Chilton broke the case."
He said, "Yeah, that's CHI." Like, he was talking to the press, like, "Yo, make sure you spell my name correct." Like he was mad hyped to like be talking to the cameras.
Right?
Like, come on, bro.
Yeah.
And this is this is like national news now because you already have a serial killer, so that's already kind of always a big story. But then it's also the fact that now this is like a senator who's like shooting ads, talking to camera, like, yo.
Yeah, get my Catherine back home.
My Catherine is, you know, we need her back. Like, if you're watching this, please, like, do the right thing. You can still do the right thing. So this is like a big story now. And now he is like, oh, I can be the hero here. Mm-hmm. And I can cut Clarice out. And I can cut the FBI out, and I can just be the
do
man.
it myself, right? So they agree. They're gonna ship him over to Memphis, have him meet with the senator, and then he will give the name of who he believes Buffalo Bill is directly to the senator. So they get him out there. So before all this is happening, while he's in the cell, the camera is doing great work. Like as Joel said, they're showing like different parts of the cell, and at one point it like zooms in on the fact that Dr. Chilton brought a pen into the cell. And one of the very first things we talked about was like, don't bring any pens, don't bring any paper clips, don't bring anything in.
Something that he told Clarice not to do.
Which is crazy.
But he was just, I feel like he made the stupid mistake just on the set.
Overconfident.
Yeah, he was just like, he was feeling himself too much. And then that's when he slipped. And once you slip, you know.
You gonna slide?
Yeah, listen.
Once you slip, you're gonna slide.
Once you start slipping, you gonna slip.
So, you know, Hannibal goes out there, he meets with the senator, and he says that Louis Friend. So he said that Louis Friend and is the person who you need to look out for. And they're like, okay, great. So they're writing down these notes. You're doing all these things. And he's even like taunting the senator while he's there. Like he's making comments.
Did you nurse Catherine yourself?
What?
Did you breastfeed her?
Now, wait a minute.
Yes, I did.
Toughened your nipples, didn't it?
Oh, son of a bitch.
Amputate a man's leg and he can still feel it tickling. Tell me, Mom, when your little girl is on the slab, where will it tickle you?
It's like, bro, why? Like, what are you doing?
He's
Like,
a jerk.
like, why? Like, just leave her alone. Like, she's a grieving mom.
Yeah, but it's also like this is who we're dealing with here.
Yeah,
just
he's a
because
monster.
just because
Yeah.
he's nice to Clarice, don't get it twisted.
Yeah.
Like he's still trash.
He's a monster.
So I feel like they're still trying to show you that like you shouldn't be feeling bad for this guy.
Yeah, that's fair. So this is the part where like it kind of gets a little weird for me because while he's out there after
In Memphis.
he meets Xander, they give the name, and now they're like people are scouring trying to figure out who this Mr. Friend is. And they have him put up, it's almost like a ballroom with like a glass case.
Yeah.
And there's 2 guards there. So there's one guard who's like sitting in front of the glass
It
case.
wasn't
while-
glass though. It was just like
plexiglass?
it
Oh,
was-
no,
it
the
was
bars.
just
You're right. They were
bars.
just bars.
Yeah, it
You're
was just
right.
like bars.
They were just bars. And
It
they
was
had
it was like a square box of like prison bars.
yeah.
That's just in the middle
Like
of
a
this
ballroom.
huge ballroom. And so he has like a toilet, a cot, a table.
He has books.
But yeah, like
Like
they're
a changing room, like a changing area.
yeah, they're giving him
Yeah.
things as like part of the like quid pro quo.
Agreement,
So that's
right.
like, all right, we're gonna just hold you here, I guess, until we find Catherine. In case we
Right.
need more information from
Right.
you, we're not gonna fly you back to Memphis. We're just gonna hold you here, and then once Catherine gets found, dead or alive, then they probably just would have figured out what to do
What
with
to do
him
with them
next.
after that. But they only have so they have two guards. There's one who's sitting directly in front of this cell, and then you have another one that's like right when you enter the ballroom who's sitting there. So Clarice figures out where he is. She goes there and she's like, "Yo, I need to talk to him." And they're like, "Oh, you need to have like strict permission to go in there." And she's like, "Oh yeah, Dr. Chilton, I saw him outside." I mean, technically she did see him outside. They just didn't speak because he was really talking to the reporters about how amazing he is and how he was able to get information out of Hannibal. She goes inside and she has the drawings that they had recently removed from Hannibal's old cell. She brings them to him and she's basically like, "Yo, like you're giving us clues, but like you're still not really giving us real information."
Basically, like, stop playing with me, bro.
Yeah, like what exactly is happening? Because he's giving different things that don't really mean anything. Like at one point he says, Lewis Friend, and she's like, Lewis Friend is an anagram for iron sulfide, which is like fool's gold. So it's like, bro, this is not even a real thing. Like you're just saying things. This is not a real person. Like tell me who Buffalo Bill is. And at this point he says to her like, "Tell me about the sheep farm you were at." It's like, bro, what? Why are we going back to this? And he's like, "No, like you said you were there for 2 months and you left. Like what happened? Like were you sodomized? Were you abused?" And she said, "No, it was nothing like that." And he said, "What happened?"
So I feel like he's trying to get her why. Like he's trying to understand who this person is.
Yes.
Because that's how he once he's able to understand who people are and what their motivations are, then he can kind of like manipulate that to his own liking, whether he wants to support them, whether he wants to hurt them, whether he wants to use them. So he's like, I can't use you in the way that I see fit unless I know
who you are.
And
Yeah.
like, why are you FBI? And so that's why he's trying to dig into her childhood.
Right. So with his prodding, she basically tells him the information that he's looking for. So she says while she's there on the ranch, one night she woke up, she heard screaming. It sounded like a child. It was some lambs that were being slaughtered. And she went to the barn, she peeked in, saw what was happening, and she felt bad. You know, she's a kid seeing lambs being murdered. And so she runs in and she grabs one of the lambs and she tries to run away with the lamb. And she says, like, the lamb was so heavy, like I couldn't really run as fast as I wanted to. She made it a few miles, though, before she was picked up by, I think, the sheriffs. At that point, you know, her uncle or whoever it was so upset that she had, you know, stolen the lamb that he was like, "Yeah, I don't really want her." And then she got placed in an orphanage, which is really sad.
This bratty little kid is messing up my business.
Right. But ever since then, she said that she has these nightmares where she wakes up like hearing these lambs screaming. And hence the whole title of Silence of the Lambs is like, Hannibal Lecter says to her, like, so you think that if you're able to save Catherine and you know, solve the case, that the screaming of the lambs will stop? And she's like, I mean, I don't know, but it's possible. And that kind of feeds into her idea of wanting to be in the FBI. Also, her father was a sheriff, so there is some, history of that type of work in her family.
She wants to save the unsavable.
I don't know if it's unsavable because she does it.
Yes, but that's...
It's not unsavable.
Yes, okay. She wants to save the very unlikely to be saved.
Okay.
Because that's the whole thing. It's like she's like, yo, what happened when they took the lamb back? It's like, yeah, they killed them.
Yeah.
So then it's like, I wasn't
She
really
felt
able to do
bad.
anything.
She felt
I just
bad.
ran away, but I was a kid, and the lamb died anyway. Because that's what happens when you have a lamb farm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean...
So then once she gives him this information, then he's like, all right, this is like, you gave me what I wanted. I'm going to stick to my offer. And he basically explains...
He tells her, yeah.
That he basically had this client named Benjamin Raspel. Raspel's the guy whose head we find in the storage unit, and they were lovers, and not Hannibal, but Raspel and Buffalo Bill were lovers. So Buffalo Bill has been killing people for some time. He already knew about it, but just wasn't going to say anything.
And so he already figured out, like, oh, he probably was murdered by Buffalo Bill because, at one point they were together and I guess somewhere went left.
And the other part of it was a part of the agreement when he said whether or not he was going to help her is he wanted to see the FBI file on Buffalo Bill. So then once he sees the file, then he's like, oh,
I'll be able to tell you.
I know who this guy is.
Yeah.
But he still doesn't really tell her. He just gives her more clues. And she basically still has to figure it out.
It's still frustrating.
So he's still kind of being a jerk, even after this information.
Like, he asked her at one point, he says, what does he fulfill by killing? And she's like, I don't know. Like, he's sexually aroused. He's like, no, try again. And she's like, I don't know, like, killers kill. And he's like, he cuts. He likes to cut. Like, and that really is the key to Buffalo Bill. It's like, why is he cutting his victims? What does he, like, why are we finding all victims with different parts of their skin cut up? What is he doing with the skin?
Well, not even that, but he says, like, his motivation has to be based on envy. So he says, like,
what do you envy?
Yeah, like, what do you envy? We envy the things that we want that we see every day.
Yes.
So that's like the clues that he's still playing Riddler at this point. And she recognizes that the first victim basically like doesn't fit the pattern of the rest of the victims. Like he held onto the body for a little bit longer or something. Where
she was weighted down.
Yeah, was weighted down in the water instead of just dumped in a river. So it's like, oh, he took his time with this one. This is the first person he killed. So she tries to figure out, like, what can I find out about this woman, and goes to
her hometown.
The victim's hometown.
Yeah, that was smart. So while this is going on, Hannibal is still like in this weird hotel like lobby
prison cell.
Yeah. And while after Clarice leaves the very same night, he says he wants a second dinner, and he orders like lamb rare, and the guards come over. Again, it's just 2 guards, which to me, it's like at the regular prison, there was so much security and they have 2 guards and there's no cameras, which I don't understand why. So they come over, they bring him the meal, and they have this routine, right? So if they're going to serve him his meal, he has to sit down with his back against the bars. They handcuff his wrist to the bars, and they come in, they place the food down. So when they come in, what we're seeing as the viewers is that his back is to the camera, he's facing them, and he's like, yes, I'm ready for my meal. Like, in between his fingers, he has a piece of the pen that Dr. Chilton had left. And this is before he even got moved to Memphis. This is going back. Like
he's like, I might need this later.
He's been holding on to this. Yeah. So it was in his mouth before. He takes it out, and he puts it in between his fingers. He's holding behind his back. So when they handcuff him to the cell, so basically his back is up against the bars and his hands are handcuffed behind his back. As they're handcuffed, you see him get that piece of the pen, it's a piece of metal, and he's trying to unlock his handcuffs. So one guard comes in, he goes to place the tray of food down, and Hannibal says to him, like, oh, please mind the paintings. And of course, to give him more time. So the officer's like, okay, he places the tray down, he moves the paintings out of the way. And as he's doing this, I'm watching the second officer. He's not paying attention at all.
No.
Like, his back is to the bars. He's, like, whistling. He's looking around. And it's like, bro, like you have a dangerous criminal who's also a psychiatrist who not only murders people, but he eats them. And he's eating a nurse during a hospital visit. Well, not eating her, but he's eating part of her face. He ate her tongue. And like you're just not paying attention at all. Like you're just routine dinner drop. Not to mention this is his second dinner of the night. Why is he ordering 2 dinners? You guys didn't think about this? So anyway, he's not paying attention. And of course, Hannibal, he gets out. He's able to handcuff the other guard to the bar so the guard can't move. He turns around to the other guy. He like bites the crap out of him.
Nah, he bites like a piece of his cheek off. And then he grabs the guard's mace and just like sprays it all over his face. So now you're wrapped.
Done. Yeah, you're done.
Like now he's just like, ah. And then the other guard is just sitting on the ground with handcuffed to the bar.
Oh, man.
And he just like, yo, no, what? I can't do anything. I can't move.
And I'm like, bro, where's your gun?
I don't even think they had guns.
Well, remember there was a shot fired. Remember, because when they found the body, they were like, "Oh, he took his gun," and one bullet. There was a shot that got fired.
Yeah.
So
I don't know.
I was just like, "Bro, like he gets your one hand, like you're cut." Anyway, I just felt like
he took a police baton and basically beat him to death.
Yeah, he.
So at this
him.
point, he's just like free, and you assume that he's gonna eat the other guy.
Right, and then run out. So what struck me about this scene was like how calm he was and how he did not seem rushed at all.
No,
because you would think like, oh, I have to hurry and kill them and get out. He's just standing there like there's blood splatter everywhere, and he's just like breathing in deeply and like this classical music playing. He's just having a very relaxed time. Like I was like, yo, this guy is a maniac.
His heart rate doesn't jump when he kills.
He's a
they
maniac.
did say that. I also feel like this was kind of like I'm trying to think of the best way to say this.
Okay.
But I feel like whoever wrote this film or book, because I know it's based on a novel, but like it almost felt to me like they were hinting at like Southern incompetence. Because it did feel like he's all like locked up when he's in Baltimore, and then we take him down to good old Memphis, and everybody's just walking around, and we just don't really worry about it, and it's just like, yo, come on, bro. Like, I feel like whoever wrote this is definitely from up north.
Yeah, I can see that.
It felt like it was like he was just a bunch of like rent-a-cops were just like kind of taking care of him down in Memphis. And they didn't have any.
Not a rent-a-cop.
They weren't like really understanding what was going on. They didn't have any worries in the world. We ain't never dealt with nothing like this before. They're just like, come on, bro. Like, it did feel a little anti-South. I'm just gonna say it.
Nah, why you gotta say it?
Cause come on, it's like, yo,
we ain't never seen nothing like this before.
Because it was like, yo, they were just mad. Yeah, they were just mad incompetent. They didn't even have like any type of security. They didn't have him in even a real prison. He's like in a Hilton ballroom. I didn't understand why he was
So
there.
here's the thing. Thomas Harris wrote the book.
Okay.
And he's from Jackson, Tennessee.
Oh, man. Oh, man. So he's actually from Tennessee. So he just hates everyone from where he's from. This is what I'm getting from it. He's like, yo, I hate the South. I hate Tennessee. And I'm going to make these people look like buffoons.
Thomas Harris, what'd you do? Well, to be fair, we are watching the book and not reading the. Sorry, we are watching the movie and not the book. So perhaps in the book, it may be a little bit tired security, or maybe he was somewhere else. Because they always change things for the big screen. So I'm not going to put it all on Harris. Maybe he didn't write that.
I'm putting it on somebody.
But yeah, you're right. It was very much like, oh, what do we do? Oh. And like, what struck me again is like they have like 25 cops in the lobby and only 2 on the floor where he is. It made no sense. And there's no cameras anywhere.
Nah, and they're just like, yo, I think the elevator's coming down. Like, he must be in there. Let's all draw our guns at the same hotel, like at the same elevator car.
That whole thing.
It's like, what?
But
nobody went up the stairs. Like, nobody tried to go to another floor. It was just like, let's just wait here.
I will say that this is what you call like the Great Escape, right? Because they finally get up there. They look at the scene. You have one officer who's like hung from the bars. It's like artwork is what he did.
It's like crucifix style.
Yeah. Like he splits him open.
That he beat to death.
Yeah, like you split him open. You see like some intestines and like his arms are up. and there's like flags that are already like part of the decoration, and he's just like hanging out, crucifix, his arms are out, and it's like, okay, he's had a lot of time to do this. He clearly,
Yeah, how did he hang him? Like, how did he do all of this and nobody came in the room?
that's what I'm saying. They had lax security.
So he had
completely
mad
lax
time,
security.
and then he was just like up there for an hour, and they were like, "Man, I guess they're still serving him his dinner." Like, come on, bro.
Well, you gotta remember, those two cops were in the whole time. They were posted there. There was one sitting directly in front of the cell,
true.
and one sitting by the door. So they wouldn't have come back down. So I think that's realistic. But it's also just like,
But it's not
why
realistic.
are there no
that
cameras?
It's also not realistic that there would only be 2 cops in the room
Right.
with him. So
I was like, okay, this is
it's
a lot.
yeah, this man hates Memphis.
Yes.
That's really the bottom line.
So they get him up. So he's dead, and then they see the second cop, Perry, is still alive. Like, he's bleeding. His face is all jacked up. There's blood everywhere. And he's like gurgling, and he's barely alive. So they're like, yo, like, he's still there. Let's get him up out of here. So they get him on a stretcher. They put him in the elevator. They get him out into an ambulance, and he's on his way out. So as this is happening, when they were in the elevator, they're going down, and they're seeing these drops of blood coming from the ceiling of the elevator that are dropping down. And they're like, yo, like, what's up? And they're like, oh, it must be Hannibal. Hannibal is on top.
Somebody's up there.
He's on top of the elevator. Like, let's get him. So they figure out what floor he's on. They're able to get above.
They stop the elevator.
Yeah, they able to get above where he is, and they're like, we need him alive, so let's just fire one shot in his leg. And when they do, there's no movement whatsoever. So it's like he's either knocked out or he's dead. Like, that's what's going on. So now there's like, I don't know, like how many cops? There's a bunch of cops in in this lobby, and they are able to open the door, and they're like, let's just pull the latch and let Hannibal like fall down, and we can get him. They pull the latch, and as it falls down, like, it's basically just like a dead body. In the same time, the camera like cuts, and we're seeing that this police officer, Perry, who had survived the attack, is in an ambulance. He's there. They're checking his vitals. At some point, he was like rocking his legs and his arms like he was having some kind of like seizure-like activity, and they're able to maintain him. They're getting him to the hospital. And one of the police officers on a radio, his back is to Perry, and he's talking in the radio. And in this moment, we see who we believe to be Perry take, like, you know, the mask, not the mask, they were giving him oxygen mask off of his face. He sits up, and then he peels like this face mask off of him.
Mm-hmm.
I remember watching this for the first time years ago and being like, what? Like, my mind was blown. Like, I was like, what is happening? He's wearing a mask of Perry's face.
And if you
Like-
remember, after he kills the first cop in the cell, like, the cops had utility belts on,
Mm-hmm.
and some sort of scalpel falls. I don't know why a cop is carrying around a scalpel.
Yeah, that was very bizarre.
That doesn't make any sense. But he sees the scalpel, and he's like, he picks it up, and that's when he goes to approach the other officer who we assume that he eats.
Right.
Which maybe he did eat him.
Maybe ate a part of it.
But he essentially cut his face off after killing both cops.
It's brilliant.
Switch clothes with the cop.
Brilliant.
And put his face on to make him look disfigured, instead of knowing that it was him. So then that's how he then kills everybody in the ambulance and escapes.
Yeah. I mean, it again, like, he's a sick individual. Like I'm not endorsing or
But
condoning.
I really admire the
I'm not
guy.
endorsing or condoning his behavior. Clearly,
He's a sick individual, but he is also my role model.
but that I was like, bro, that is genius. Think about it.
That's
like,
the whole thing.
Like, they literally
He is an evil genius.
they carried me out. They took me out. So yeah, he escapes, and like, he's in the wind at this point. Like, no one knows where he is. But the good thing about it is we have Clarice going back to Buffalo Bill. She's able to go back to the hometown of the very first victim. She's talking with her father. She ends up finding one of her coworkers. We learn that she is a seamstress, had worked for this woman. Her name was Lippman, Miss Lippman. And so she's like, okay, I'm gonna go to Miss Lippman's house and basically interview her to see what she can tell me about this victim. When she goes to Miss Lippman's house, who answers the door but Buffalo Bill? Of course, she does not know this initially when she first talks to him. He says that, oh yeah, Lippman used to live here. I can actually give you the number for her son. Just come in for a second. Let me find his information. And so she walks in, and at first she doesn't think it's him. Like, she's just kind of, regular on guard for an FBI agent. And she's looking around, and then she sees like this moth. Like, this moth is flying around. And he has a painting of like a butterfly. And so it's kind of just like, okay, let me think about this. And the place is just kind of in disarray. And so
but then he's also being mad, like weird, like, oh, so what's going on with the case? Did you have any leads? Did you find the guy yet?
She's like,
and
no,
what?
we haven't found him. Like, we're still looking.
It's like, bro, you're asking mad questions. Like, just get the guy's phone number. Like,
yeah, yeah. So, did he say something?
I feel like I don't remember exactly what it was, but I felt he said something that she was just like, all right, man. So then she pulls the gun on him like, yo, freeze.
And of course he does not. He runs down to the basement. So this is the point where I'm just like, Clarice, just call it in. Like, I am not about to follow this man into his little basement of God knows what.
His
like,
dungeon of horrors.
I'm not going down there.
Not to mention, like, you tell somebody to freeze and they're in front of a doorway.
Yeah.
Like, the first thing you should have done is move him away from the doorway. Or if he does try to run away,
shoot his leg.
Shoot him.
Yeah.
She did neither of those things.
Yeah.
So then he just, like, slips past the doorway and just runs down to the basement. And then she's now in a strange home where she uncovers the bodysuit that he's been putting together. She uncovers the senator's daughter who's starving in a
she's screaming, help me
in a well.
Yeah.
With his little dog that she was able to kidnap.
That was good on her
in an attempt to save herself.
Yeah.
And then Buffalo Bill basically cuts the lights
out. Yeah.
And he's in the house with night vision goggles. Mm-hmm. And so this is another first person shot where we're seeing
that was good
Buffalo Bill's perspective as Clarice is clawing her way around in the dark with a gun pointed at seemingly nothingness.
Yeah.
Hoping that she's able to find this man in the pitch black dark before he kills her.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
she's able to hear the click because he's...
Well, this is the thing, too. He also has a gun.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see her. She can't see you.
Yeah, why didn't he just shoot her?
So
I think the safety was on. Because remember, like, she heard the click, and that's when she fires her gun.
Yes, but if you remember, she's in the dark for a while. And he's, like, looking at her. And then at one point, he, like, reaches his hand out to her.
Yeah.
Like, he's thinking about touching her, but then he, like, stops
himself. He's, like, treasuring the moment.
Yeah, so he's, like, being mad creepy about it. And
yeah.
then when he does finally cock his gun, she hears the click and turns around and shoots in his direction and kills him first. But it's like... He could have shot her from a distance. Yeah. He could have, like, killed her at any point.
He likes to play with his toys, though. Think about it.
But she wasn't even one of his toys.
But it doesn't matter. Like, I think the way that he does things, he's not like... Again, he's not impulsive. So her coming there was completely like, whoa, what am I going to do? And also it's like, oh, she's a woman. Oh, so he keeps his people for 3 days. He's not going to have her come in and just shoot her. Like, that's not how he operates.
I felt it was a little unrealistic. I feel like, because for him, it's also like...
danger.
Yeah, it's like, this is potentially going to uncover everything. And I'm not going to be able to make my bodysuit. So, in any event,
it's all about the bodysuit, baby.
Yeah, in any event, she gets killed. She kills him. She cracks the case by herself with nobody else there. And then we see her getting her graduation, so she becomes a real FBI agent. She, gets all these accolades. She's the best. And then as she's at the ceremony for her graduation, she gets a phone call.
Mm-hmm.
And when she answers it, who else is it but Dr. Lecter?
Heyo.
Hanging out in the Bahamas. And he has on like a wig as his disguise.
He got a very comfortable linen suit.
And a very comfortable linen suit, yes. He's swagged out in the linen. And as he's on this payphone, he's like, yo, don't even try to trace the call because I'm not going to stay on long enough for you to trace it. But I just want to let you know that, like...
I'm not coming for you.
Yeah, you're safe, like, you're good, don't worry about it. And then she's like, where are you? What are you doing? and he's like,
I do wish we could chat longer, but I'm having an old friend for dinner. Bye.
And who does he see?
Dr. Chilton,
Dr. Chilton.
who's unsure if he's running away to hide from Lecter in the Bahamas or if he's just there on vacation.
Yeah.
But somehow Dr.
It's a
Lecter
wrap
figured
for
out
him.
that he was in the Bahamas, got there first, and is watching him as he
Let's get off the
deplanes.
plane.
And then the closing credits just show them walking down the street in the Bahamas, and he's just like
He's trailing him.
walking behind him, stalking him. And we know
He's
how
hungry.
we know how that's
He's
gonna
hungry.
end.
He hasn't eaten a human in quite some time, so.
So
Man.
so that's the movie.
That's the movie. I have some notes.
Yeah, I figured.
So let me get into these. So Buffalo Bill, he was based off of 3 different killers. So first of all, he was based off of Ted Bundy. So the scene where he captures Catherine and he asks for assistance getting the couch into the truck. Ted Bundy was known for wearing a cast and asking women to assist him with the same thing, moving furniture into his trunk, and then he would bash them over the head, and then he would
Drive
take them
off.
to the second location, and that's where he would murder them. He's also based off of another killer named Gary Heidnik. He killed 2 of the 6 women he kidnapped. He is actually different than the regular serial killer because most serial killers, like they said, will hunt within their own race. He was a white man who actually went after black women. He would kidnap them and then he would rape them because in his idea, he needed to procreate to have the perfect race. In his idea, he believed that in the future, all humans would be one race. So he's like, if I procreate with as many black women as possible, it would like mix. And then we would have, but again, it's like, you do know that black and white are not the only 2 races in the world.
Maybe he didn't know that. Maybe he didn't know.
But he actually had a pit in his basement where he would keep his victims. And that's where like Buffalo Bill, it puts the lotion in the basket.
So then what happens, like, so he rapes them and then he like waits
He wants
9
them to have
months?
kids. Yeah. He kidnapped 6 of them. So so 2 of them died. I guess they didn't cooperate or whatever. I'm not sure the details of it. But his idea was he'll keep procreating with these women, with these black women. And so they will mix and have mixed babies. And he will create the perfect race. He also had the theory that tall people should all mate with short people. So
everybody would be one height.
Yes.
So then what happened to all these women that he had in his basement?
Well, again, he got convicted of murdering 2 of them.
So he got caught.
He got caught.
And so were they actually pregnant?
I didn't do deep dive on him. I did deep dive on Ed Gein, which I'm about to get to.
This is the second time we've brought up Ed Gein on this podcast. So
Ed Gein,
he's becoming a star of this show.
Listen, Ed Gein is a star of this movie because he was. So again, I mentioned Ted Bundy and I mentioned this other guy, Gary Heidnik, who were like, again, they were just scenes, just parts of them were brought up. So like, of course, the Ted Bundy kidnapping was a part of it, and then of course the pit from Gary Heidnik's basement was brought up because of the whole lotion in the basket part where they're in the pit. But Ed Gein was a huge part of this because Ed Gein was the person who was actually skinning his victims. Now, this is a real reason why I wanted to give the trigger warning. Like, yes, this movie talks about a lot of stuff with the murder and the skinning of women, but I'm about to get into a lot of some deep, dark stuff. So, again, trigger warning. So for Ed Gein, he was engaging in these activities in the late 40s and the early 50s. He only actually killed 2 women. I shouldn't say only because there's still 2 lives that were left, so I shouldn't say only. But like typically, we're talking about a serial killer. Serial killers are killing 3 or more people. That's what a serial killer is. So he's not technically a serial killer. He's more of a grave robber. What he would do is he would go into the cemetery, he would dig bodies up, and then he would skin these cadavers and take them back. And then he would take that skin and he would create different pieces of clothing. So some of the things that he created.
So he was skinning the bodies of people he had killed previously?
He only killed 2. So most of them were just people who were just dead. He would go and
Okay.
just dig them up.
And then he
And then he
ran
would
out of
s-
graves and,
and
was
he would
like, I
skin
need
'em.
to kill people myself.
And they would skin them. So he like think
Okay, no, go ahead.
so parts of things that he could create with the skin. He had skin lampshades. He had a corset. He had leggings. He had a torso vest, a gown, an apron, gloves, a belt made of nipples. He also had some shrunken heads. He had some skulls that he used as ashtrays and as soup bowls.
Okay.
He had masks made of faces, which we saw in this movie.
Right.
He had an upholstered chair, so the seated part of the chair is made out of skin. And some of the masks with the faces, which is kind of disturbing, some of them still had the makeup on from when they were buried, like when you do
Right.
funeral.
Yeah.
Yeah, they still had the lipstick on, and he would like keep the mask in the house. Another part, I don't know if you noticed this. So when Clarice goes into Buffalo Bill's dungeon,
Basement, you're right.
and she finds this body in a tub, like it was an entire body that had
Yeah.
been killed. So Ed Gein had dug up his mother's body and kept it in his home in a sealed off room. So when the cops went through his house, I can't even imagine what the heck was going through their mind when they saw all
They
this stuff.
found all this skin furniture.
They found his preserved mom's body boarded up in a room. And based off of the idea that he had kept his mom's body, Norman Bates from Psycho was born. Because Norman Bates had his mom kept in a room in his house. He also had split personality, or if you want to call it DID, where he believed he was his mom and, killed other people. But that idea was they took that into Psycho in Norman Bates' character. They also used Ed Gein, in addition to this movie, for Leatherface. Leatherface, of course, is the Texas Chainsaw Massacre killer. And he was known for cutting up people, taking their face, and putting it over his face. That was also come from Ed Gein. Ed Gein has actually only been convicted of 2 murders, but he is suspected of 3 other murders, including the murder of his brother.
What year is this?
40s and 50s, late 40s, early 50s. So another weird fact about him, and this is really, really weird. They found some noses in a jar. They found some actual heads from people, like an actual head from a victim one of the people that he murdered, he kept her head. He also had her body like hanging upside down, like if you have like a pig for the slaughter.
Yeah, it's like draining the blood.
Yeah. He had her body hanging upside down. And for any of you who are like me and are just, I don't know, sick in the head, these crime scene photos are actually online. You can go online and look at the skin.
The skin lampshade?
Lampshade, the nipple belt, the body hung upside down. You could actually find this online. And it's not even a hard search. Like I just happened to do a quick search to see what I could see, and I could see a lot of things. But yeah, this guy was sick. He also, last thing I'm gonna mention about what he had a box containing 9 vulvae.
Sheesh.
Box
in a box.
Yeah. Boxes in a box.
All right.
Boom ching. So what he was trying to do is that he said that he was trying to create a replica of his mom. So he was trying to build like this bodysuit. I did a deep dive on Ed Gein. I listened to like a 3-hour podcast. I know that sounds crazy on him. His mom really got into his head as a child. She did a lot of damaging things to him. One of the things, I'm just going to give you briefly, was like she told him that if he had sex with anyone, that basically it meant that he didn't love her. So he was very emotionally wounded by his mom, and it became this weird, like, fantastical obsession of his. And so as he became older, he was cutting the skin from these women. He was trying to create, like, these stockings, these gloves, this suit. He was trying to create a replica of his mom. It's all very bizarre and all very sad. Not to feel bad for him. He's still a monster. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying, like, for the child, I feel bad for the Ed Gein child as to what he went through, and it kind of shows what he became later on in life. And this is the big part of the movie because a lot of the stuff we see in the movie, for instance, is a very quick shot when Buffalo Bill is in the basement and they show a very quick glimpse of a quilt on his bed. And the quilt has two swastikas. I don't know if you saw this.
I didn't notice that
Yeah,
at all.
it has. So they go up to the front. There's an American flag, and they film down, and you see these two swastikas on a quilt. And that's another nod to Ed Gein because Ed Gein was also fascinated with Hitler. So I'm watching this movie, and I'm like, like the parallels are everywhere. It's screaming Ed Gein, Ed Gein, Ed Gein all throughout the film. They did an excellent job.
Sounds like a nice guy.
It did an excellent job of tying it all together. So yeah, that those are the facts as far as like the serial killers are involved. Now, for some lighter facts. So in preparation for his role, Sir Anthony Hopkins studied files of serial killers. He also visited prisons and he studied convicted murderers. He also was present during some of the court hearings concerning gruesome murders and serial killings. He was trying to get into that mindset.
That's impressive.
He did an excellent job.
Nah, he kills this whole movie.
Yeah. So he did that, to prepare. And then the real life FBI's Behavioral Service Unit actually assisted in the making of this movie. Jodie Foster modeled her character after Special Agent Mary Ann Krause, who she actually met at Quantico at the FBI training facility. So she met with her and kind of like try to figure out like day in the life of someone in the academy.
Right, yeah.
What is it like? And was able to, use her as a kind of model to figure out how to play this role. I mean, again, like, if you guys are into Ed Gein or interested, like, there are so many documentaries and stuff on him out there. I found myself in a rabbit hole where I was just like, what is happening? I mean, honestly, I almost feel like I want to do an episode on Ed Gein. But
that's not a 90s movie. That's not the point of this podcast.
Maybe it could be like a Patreon, like behind the scenes.
Or you could just start another podcast where you talk about serial killers, because that's not what this is. I was gonna ask you if you had any themes, but I'm sure you don't have any.
No, I actually do.
Oh, you've actually prepared for.
Wait, what about the quotes? I'll just do one quote. Is that okay?
All right, go ahead.
I'll do one quote. The biggest quote for me, of course, is Hannibal Lecter is talking to Clarice, and he is trying to warn her, like, basically, like, don't play with me because, like, I'm not someone who needs to be played with. And he said,
A census taker once tried to test me. I ate his liver with some fava beans and a nice Chianti.
That was, like, the line that's, like, that's the line.
That's the line that everybody remembers.
That's the line.
For sure.
Okay. So for themes, the big one that stood out to me was how Clarice was able to succeed in this world that is clearly a quote-unquote man's world. Despite all of the sexism in law enforcement, there's parts where she's shielded from certain aspects of the crime because they're like, oh, let's go into private and talk about this because there's a woman here. And she even says to Crawford, like, I don't want you talking like that when I'm here because, like, it matters. Like, you're saying things that, like, I can't hear parts of the investigation because I'm a woman. And Crawford's like, yeah, I understand. I wanted to get him out of here. And she's like, yeah, that's fine. But, like, it matters when you're saying things like, she can't hear this part of the investigation. Like, I'm part of the case. And there were so many parts of the movie where people were just having these sexist comments about her. Like, you mentioned the other doctor. What was his name? Chilton, who was like asking her out on a date. Even when she goes to the bug doctor and asks about Dr. Pilcher, he even was like flirting with her and like asking her out. And it's like against all the odds, it's the woman who's able to solve the case, right? She's able to like endure the sexual harassment and like laugh it off and ha ha ha. And it's like a day in the life of a woman in this type of environment, right? It's like you go to work and like you're there to do your job, but like at every point, at every turn, you had these men who are making inappropriate comments, who are literally throwing cum in your face. And you just have to like take it with a smile and move forward and do your job. And I felt like they did a really good job of showing that like there's a woman who came out of nowhere who was able to, yes, with the help of Dr. Hannibal Lecter, solve the case. And I like the fact that it was a woman who was able to get to the bottom of things and clean it up, and it wasn't that annoying doctor. I keep forgetting his name. Chilton, yeah, because get that guy out of here. So yeah, for me, that was the first thing I saw. I was like, oh, this woman is kicking ass and taking names, even though all throughout the way they kept sexually harassing her and the misogyny was everywhere.
Yeah, I feel like the constant sexism and misogyny for me was like what didn't age well. I mean, not to say that like sexism
it probably still happens.
Yeah, like obviously that's still happening. But it did feel way more prominent in terms of like how open and brazen they were about it. In terms of just like, oh, like we have to do this because you're a woman, or just the way that they were like blatantly sexually harassing her. I feel like it's at least a little bit more coded nowadays. But in terms of themes, the one that I got was that past traumas, like traumas from your past, create your motivations for the future. So when you're thinking about Clarice and like everything that happened to her, from like having to live in foster care or in orphanage, or like her father dying at a young age, or
and
the
her
whole
mom.
thing with the sheep, with the lambs, and just like her feeling like she wants to figure out a way to help and preserve lives. Which is kind of like a motivation for who she becomes, not to mention her father was in law enforcement. But then even like the Buffalo Bill character, who is trying to basically change who he is, and he's being denied care. He's being denied transsexual surgery. And that creates his motivation to make his own women bodysuit so that he can do it himself. And there are probably a few other examples of that. We don't know exactly how Dr. Hannibal becomes Dr. Hannibal.
Yeah, that's true.
But you can assume that it's coming from some sort of trauma that he comes from. So I feel like that was the biggest thing for me. This movie doesn't have like any super prominent themes. I feel like it was more so just like, yo, look at this crazy shit. But I feel like that was kind of like the underspoken theme, the unspoken theme behind all of this is like, people aren't just who they are, like they all come from somewhere, and the trauma from your past kind of motivates who you end up becoming, for better or for worse.
Right. All right. You ready for the ratings? Or you got something
Yeah,
else to
kind
add?
of.
Okay.
I mean, I'm ready to do the ratings. I'm not sure if I'm necessarily ready with what I have. I mean, I feel like this is a movie that is like a certified classic. I've watched it multiple times. I feel like watching it this time with like more of a critical eye almost like took away from it for me.
Yeah.
Like I feel like when I'm just watching it and just being like, oh, this is some crazy shit, then it's just like, oh, like he's eating people and he rips off the face and he does the thing, and Buffalo Bill's so weird. But it's like, as I'm like watching the movie a little bit more critically, I'm like, there isn't really a lot to this movie. And it's also like 2 hours long. So it's also an investment, and you're not getting a lot of smiles and laughs. Like it's pretty dark from the beginning to the end.
Yeah.
And so like as you're watching it and then it ends and you're just like, wow, that was heavy. But there wasn't, I guess there wasn't as much as I expected in terms of like things that I felt good about for sure, but then also like stuff that I could take from this movie in terms of huge themes or big takeaways. I did like the way that the film was shot. Obviously, Anthony Hopkins' acting was outstanding.
Oh God, yeah.
But I don't think I can't give it a 5 based on the fact that like I feel like there wasn't a lot to the story outside of just like, this is crazy. So I don't know. I'm somewhere between like a 4 and a 4.5. And the 4.5 is more so just based on like it just being such a groundbreaking film. So I feel like there aren't a lot of movies like it. And its uniqueness is probably giving it more of a boost than the movie itself. So I'm gonna go like 4.4.
Oh, you're splitting hairs here.
Yeah.
Okay.
4.4.
Oh, okay.
Still strong score.
That's a very strong score.
Yeah.
Okay. I enjoyed this more than you.
I mean, there's no surprise.
So, as maybe you guys don't know if you're not going back to the earlier episodes, but I've said this before. Typically speaking, I don't like 2-hour movies. My attention span is just not there for it. After an hour, maybe an hour and a half, I'm like, okay, this is taking too long. Let's get on with it. I was riveted the entire 2 hours. I did not need to take a break. I did not look at my phone. I was in it. I wanted to know what was going on. I also was watching it, like you said, in a critical eye with the history of knowing Ed Gein and his character. So I'm watching it and I'm like, oh, that's why they did that. Oh, that's Ted Bundy. Like, I was like, oh, that's crazy that
you're
they're
picking
doing all
up
these
Easter
things.
eggs as you're watching.
Yeah.
It. And I'm just like, this is crazy.
So I enjoyed it more than Joel did because of that, because I'm seeing like all of the different backstories of the actual serial killers behind it. And I'm seeing how the director took those ideas and then put them onto the film and, change things a little slightly. I mean, this movie, it's rated R. Like, it has a whole like full frontal shot of Buffalo Bill with like a vagina. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And the character, the guy who played Buffalo Bill, like, let me tell you, like, he was fantastic because you believed Ted Levine, you believed that this guy was Buffalo Bill. Like this guy is, the way he talked, the way he walked, the way he was freaking out over his dog, the way he was talking to Catherine's character. Like, you just believed this guy had some serious issues. And I enjoyed every moment of it. Like, why are you laughing?
I'm laughing because I literally just finished saying, like, there isn't a lot to enjoy from this movie. And you're like, yo, the serial killer was so enjoyable for me.
Because it was
just like a complete opposite.
Well,
take.
because it was disturbing, but in a way that's like, it's like watching a car accident, right? Like, it's like, this is crazy. I hope everyone's okay, but it's also like, I can't look away kind of a deal. Like, that's how I felt. It was like, the fact that he's doing this to these women and he's so violent and he's getting, but it's like, what's the motivation? And once you like know the backstory of like, oh, he likes to cut. Oh, he's making a suit. Oh, he has this body that had like been congealed and was in the bathtub. That I'm thinking about Ed Gein and his mother, and I'm thinking about Norman Bates. Like, all the connections for me just made it so fantastical, but also just like mind-blowing experience. I was like, wow, connections. They did a great job. And Anthony Hopkins, like you said, just come on. Like, he killed this.
Yeah, he did
He killed this. Would I watch this again? Absolutely, without a doubt. I'm sure I'd pick up more things that I didn't catch this time around. And I'm giving it a 5.
Yeah.
I'm giving it a 5.
Yeah. So I'm like, I don't know why we're wasting our time here. I knew you were giving it a 5 before we even started recording this episode. So it was really just a matter of like how you were going to get there. I would have been more shocked if you didn't give it a 5.
I'm giving it a 5. I love this movie. I would watch it again. Again, if you're younger or like squeamish, or probably not for you. But if you're like me, you like true crime, definitely give this movie a watch because it has all the aspects you need. There's some comedy, light comedy. There's some jokes.
I don't know.
Lecter got some jokes.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he had like 2 jokes in a 2-hour movie. Like, I wouldn't call it some comedy, but yeah, sure.
But with I'm saying, with the context, with the background, it makes sense. It's enjoyable.
No, it's a very quality movie. It won all those Oscars for a reason. I just feel like my rewatch wasn't as enjoyable as I thought it would have been. So that's why I kind of had to dock. But let's, we'd love to hear from you. What do you think? Especially if you're able to go back and rewatch it like we did. Has your opinion of this movie changed? Drop us a line. Let us know your thoughts on Silence of the Lambs.
All right. Later.